Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Night Stalker gameplay of Rank 1 EU 12K MMR Saberlight. He's an offlane player, been absolutely stomping as of late. So out of respect to some extent, I'd like to look at his gameplay, see how he went 12-1 in 22 minutes as Night Stalker, an incredible score. And let's get into it. By the way, guys, if you want to become absolutely broken, well, what you need to do is sign up to the gameleap website down below right now. The reason why you should do that is because every single day we post a new video there. Content that you simply just will never get on YouTube, we post every single day to the website. It's really top tier stuff. I'm very proud of what I make over there. We also have other creators, many of my great friends who are top tier Dota players, creating guides about different heroes, different roles, different items, skill builds, talent builds, everything you need to know to get to the next rank. So if you feel a little bit lost, you're a little bit stuck, click the link down below. I'll see you guys there. And now let's get into the video. Alright, so getting into the lane, we see that he is going for a 3-branch Quelling Tango stick start. I would have to imagine this is largely because number one, Night Stalker already has good base damage, so you don't necessarily have to double down with gauntlets. I will say that there is some logic to going the double gauntlet, 2 branches, Quelling Tango build on this hero, just so you have like, what is it, 70, I think it's 72 damage, and you can really play for denies. But against something like Crystal Maiden, I can really understand what he's going for here. Crystal Maiden plus Wraith King is a brutal lane. It's really rough. Thankfully, I think he's laning with a Jakiro, who's really good against Wraith King skeletons. But, oh, or they're tri-laning. I don't know. Either way, we're gonna watch this laning stage and get into it. Oh, is he solo laning? Because this is something you do. This is like a really niche strategy that I've actually done for quite a while now, but you basically see no one do it besides a few select pros. Essentially what you do is you block and you let the range creep go, and you only do this when you're solo laning. The reason why you do this when you're solo laning, and this also explains why he has a stick, but the reason why you would do this when you're solo laning is if this range creep dies right away, think about what's gonna happen, guys. You're gonna only have 3 melee creeps, they're gonna have 4 creeps, it's gonna push into you no matter what, right? 4 creeps versus 3 creeps, it's gonna push into you, guaranteed. Also, one thing to keep in mind is the range creep does the most damage out of all the creeps. And so if you kill off your range creep, well, yeah, your wave's gonna be fine. Good trading, by the way. This is, this is really smart movement. Essentially what he does is he kind of baits the CM to the left. CM is also afraid of Jakiro. She doesn't want to trade into the Jakiro. So he plays to the right side trees. Once CM comes in, he hits, nukes, hits. This is exactly what you want to do. Force the CM to play melee range. Especially when you're solo laning, the worst thing you can do is stand in the middle of the wave, and most players would do that. And they just grief their lane, like super hardcore. So here he goes for some aggro, double aggro, triple aggro. Okay, you really didn't want to lose those creeps. You can see aggros, hits, aggros, hits, aggros. Every single time he right-clicked the CM in between there. I'm surprised he's not shipping more regen. I feel like this is a little greedy almost. He's gonna have to unless the Jakiro comes and helps him. But we'll see what he does. Okay, you can see basically anytime you have to solo lane like this, it's kind of crazy that he's solo laning. Okay, Jakiro's on his way. But one thing to keep in mind is that anytime you have to solo lane like this, what you want to do is just spam aggro. And you can see he's been doing a really good job of that. He's hit level 2 now. He hasn't taken too much damage. He's only had to use 3 tangos in 1 minute and 40 seconds, which frankly isn't that bad considering the circumstances. And yeah, he's really, wow, he does this a lot. I wonder what the Wraith King's gonna do in response to this, but you can see anytime this range creep is dead in particular, he really likes to pull the wave back. And so you can see once again, aggro, hit, so it follows you. You always have to hit there so it follows you, and he's gonna bring it back. Generally you want to then aggro, yep, there you go. This is the optimal play here, guys. So anytime you bring the wave back like this, if you have at least a few creeps, generally at least 3, what you can do, even if you have 2, you can do this. It just, sometimes it doesn't work. What you want to do is you move your camera so he clicks on the minimap and then aggros off the Wraith King, right? He right clicks on Wraith King and then double taps his select hero key to go back to Night Stalker, runs backwards, and now he can try to kill off this range creep. Didn't really fully get it. You kind of want multiple melee creeps to hit the range creep, but it still might die fast enough because of how low HP range creeps have. Yep, there you go. Gets a free range creep deny as a result, so beautifully done. And yeah, him not going for more regen, I guess he must have known that Jakiro was just going for a first blood bottom and then gonna come back, because otherwise I would have seen this as extremely greedy. But yeah, the Jakiro did come back. All right, we're gonna see his first and only death of this game, which is kind of crazy, because this game doesn't look like a stomp from, what we're looking at here. But he kind of makes a mistake. I would say the mistake he makes is he does not respect the Wraith King skeletons. Jakiro committed his Q. If Jakiro commits his Q, it kind of means that the Wraith King skeletons have free reign, right? They're not going to get attack speed slowed and movement speed slowed, so they can really stay on top of targets. And then, yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with this lane being just brutal. It's just a crazy high damage lane, and he goes down. Honestly, not that bad of a death, only because it's not first blood, but overall, I can kind of see why he rushed the boots now. He has them early, and this is going to allow him to play very defensive against this Wraith King CM, which he kind of has to do. You know, you're not going to win this lane, at least not at this point in the game. Maybe when you're level 5, when it's minute 5, and Jakiro's level 3, then you can look to make some plays. One thing that you don't see every day that he actually goes for here is he takes a point in the silence. You don't see this a lot because very often what people want to do is they just want to maximize their ability to run down supports, or even the carry if they're winning their lane. Now, you're not going to be able to run down a Wraith King in this lane, so maybe that's his thought process, like, I can't run at Wraith King. You can't even really run at CM, frankly. She just has too many disables, and yeah, you're just going to get your HP destroyed if you try to do that. So he kind of has to play defensive, and that's why, I mean, this Void, Crippling Fear value point really pays off, because he gets ganked here, but because he has these boots, he dodges the roll, gets off the silence, that delays the frostbite, the kick misses as a result, and he lives, which is crazy, right? Definitely most people would take the E, and fair, you know, it's fair because it doubles the attack speed you get. It's extremely significant taking the second point in the E, but yeah, he doesn't go for it, and it pays off. Okay, at this point, this is something that I'm always unsure about in my games, and I think you guys might be unsure about it in your games as well. Even if you're a safe laner or an offlaner, you can learn from this. So at the 6-minute mark here, the wave is in his favor, and the reason why in the first place this is the case is number 1, because the skeletons push out the wave, like Wraith King has been, you know, just pushing it out. Number 2 is because of his creep aggro earlier on, but it's primarily at this point just because of the Wraith King. Either way, the main thing I want to discuss here is when the lane is in this position, how do you know when to shove it and how do you know when to static it? Well, the time in which you want to shove the wave is when you have something else to do. So you can see him aggro deny. He's literally instantly denying the creeps. Once it's in deny range, he basically tries to hit it. And so how do you know when to do that? And how do you know when to push in the wave? So what I would say is, can he farm the large camp conveniently? The answer is not really, right? This hero isn't particularly good at killing the large camp. So what he's doing is actually just limiting any hero's ability to actually farm this wave. And that can be the CM, right? That could be the CM, that could be the Wraith King, it doesn't really matter. No one is actually able to farm this wave safely or comfortably. And if the enemy tries to gank him as a result of this gameplay, they often can be responded to because he's right next to his tier 1, right? So essentially, once again, just to really repeat my point, if you can, let's say flash farm, let's say you're playing like a Kunkka safe lane, right? And you have you're level 7, right? You're having a great game, you're level 7 early on. Even if you're level, let's say 6, you can shove out the wave with the intent of flash farming, right? With the intent of killing the small camp, with the intent of let's say you're playing Nature's Prophet, pressuring the tower, right? If I win my lane as Prophet, I'm not generally going to keep the wave back because I want to kill their safe lane tower and then kill all the nearby camps. I play to maximize efficiency. I'm not playing to shut down the enemy as much because Prophet isn't even as good as doing that. He's not very survivable. Right? He doesn't like one-on-one people that well. Night Stalker is very survivable because of his vision, silence, movement speed, and he is pretty good at one-on-oneing people. Not necessarily Wraith King, but you get the point, right? So now he does shove in the wave finally, and after he does that, he actually just TPs bottom to farm, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, this is not something I definitely would have done. I think I 100% would have stayed top, but he's putting a huge priority on just getting his farm up. He's using this entirety of the first night time to kind of recover his game, has 57 CS in 9 minutes after having to start the game solo laning, and now only after shoving in bottom does he rep on mid. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. Now he probably feels like, okay, I can make a play. This wave is far up as is. Like, staticking the wave here is kind of stupid because there's like a decent chance you could get rotated on. He could get rolled on, maybe frostbited. If Void Spirit was off map, he's on map, but if he was off map, he could get, TP'd on. So yeah, he's going to shove in the wave here, and I'd like this because when you shove in the wave when it's far up, especially when you're bottom, I guess you can get, first of all, going into the triangle is pretty nice, steals the bounty, and if someone's farming this, if you run up this hill as Night Stalker, you're going to see them instantly. So there's like no chance you're going to die, right? Almost ever. So it's pretty good information. Now he's going to come clean up this kill, definitely going to hunt the Void Spirit, yeah. That's a big kill. That's a really big solo kill, gives him almost a full level, and he can transition this in the mid tower. That's a beautiful rotation. So I love this gameplay, you know. It's just such, I'm not gonna say simple or like plain gameplay, but it's very smooth, right? He's not trying to make crazy amounts of plays. He's not pressuring heroes he can't pressure. Notice how he's not gonna run at Huskar. He didn't run at the Wraith King. He didn't run at the CM. And this is the biggest, honestly, one of the biggest parts about, in my opinion, getting to something like 12K. You have to know what heroes you pressure and what heroes pressure you. It sounds basic as hell, but like it's so hard because there's literally a gajillion matchups, right? If you think about Dota as a whole. That was pretty funny. But yeah, like he doesn't run at CM and he doesn't run at Wraith King. How many of you guys, let's be honest, how many of you guys think most players would have ran at CM or ran at Wraith King right at minute 5, even before face boots? I would say a huge percentage because people have the idea, nighttime I go, but he didn't win the lane, right? He didn't win the lane and those matchups are quite difficult. All right, so he goes for the Echo Saber this game. Seems like he's generally playing bottom, makes the decision to rotate out here. So let's quickly go back to that. He gets kicked out of bottom, runs back to bottom. So clearly his main goal of this game is just to kind of like farm and split the map, which, you know, it's daytime Night Stalker. He does have ulti though, so the one thing I'm a little bit unsure of is he has no TP, so if he runs bottom, he definitely can get dove, and the enemy team knows he has no TP, so I think that's why he's hesitant to go bottom here. He knows if he gets dove, he's gonna have to pop ulti defensively, but looks like he's setting up anyway. Gonna go onto the Huskar. Definitely a difficult kill, but Pugnus in the area. Really beautiful, beautiful. Look at this, guys, okay? You have to understand this. This kill doesn't work if he goes early. Okay, I know for a fact a lot of people would get anxious and they would be like, oh my god, this guy's low. No, but he knows, right? Once again, this is why he's 12K. Like, I'm being real, guys. Like, he knows basically how much, almost exactly how much damage he does, just from intuition, just from playing so much Dota. And because of that, he's able to pop his ulti, right? And wait for Pugna to close the gap. He waits for this guy to disengage. Even, you could argue maybe he should have waited like an extra second, but besides the point, waits to basically the perfect time. Allows Pugna to close the gap, secures the kill, beautifully done, like super nice. Nukes out the CM, gets the kill, awesome. Now he's gonna, okay, he's gonna rotate, his ulti's kind of running out, so we'll see. He is chasing, it looks like they think they can collapse. I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh my god, it's gonna work, wow. Okay, I mean, once again, hey, I mean, this is why I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I mean, to be fair, you don't really want to run back bottom at this point. Like, you have to think about your options. So honestly, I think after I killed the CM, I'd probably just run bottom and try to shove in the wave. He decides to go to mid, which in my eyes is kind of a crazy play because this guy was like, he took the tower and just started disengaging. I guess you're just that fast. Like, that's insane. He just ran across the whole map. To be fair, Huskar and CM were dead, so it was a bit of a gap, but wow. Gonna transition into a Wraith King kill as well. You can see he's being a little bit cautious about going in here. At least he was. I'll go back to that. Just because his nighttime was out, so he didn't really want to like hard commit. Kind of hits twice and moves back. Notice how after auto attacks, he's moving backwards. Because he's weak, he can't really kite in and out, and so he has to kind of bring the enemy team into him. Just in general, when you have like, let's say something like an SF Pugna, Disruptor, you know, Jakiro, like all of his teammates kind of need to play the back. He doesn't want to make them overextend, right? They're pretty slow heroes. They don't like dive. You get the point, right? They're not Storm. It's not Ember. It's not, you know, a Blink Dagger Ursa. So he can't really like go too far. That would bait in. So I love this kiting here. Kites out. Okay, realizes he's kind of committed with the CM. Finishes her off. Oh my god, he lives. Oh my god, beautiful TP. That was kind of a psycho TP. I didn't think that, dude, I'm surprised he lived. He had a lot of tick on him. He had like multiple, I think he had like 3 or 4 ticks on him, but okay, back to bottom. I can't believe how much he's pushing in bottom this game. I don't feel like I would have done this. I feel like I would have stayed top. But he's, clearly his idea is like, okay, this SF, they can't really make plays, right? Because, I mean, they can smoke with like Pugna Disruptor, but like, that's a bit niche, and it's very likely they'll get counter ganked if they made plays during daytime or even during nighttime when they were kind of weak, because the enemy team has a lot of counter initiation. So yeah, he just kept shoving in bottom. You can see he's so farmed now. He's level 12. That's higher than everyone else on the enemy team. All right, so it's nighttime. He's pretty strong now. You know, at this point of the game, the Wraith King is also shoving in bottom, which I think in his eyes, when you see like a Wraith King bottom here, generally what you're going to assume, or at least what I'm going to assume, is either the Wraith King's alone and he's split pushing, or he's got 2 supports behind him. And the way you can often differentiate between the two is thinking to yourself, like, can the support set up a play mid? And considering no one on his team is showing, or like unless they have a ward, no one's showing. The supports can't really like set up mid unless they're smoking. So I'm gonna assume like if I was in this game, I would assume CM is here and Earth Spirit's here. We'll see. Am I wrong? I'm wrong. Well, not fully wrong. Like obviously they don't have to necessarily be next to each other, but you get the point, right? It's one of those things where it's like, are they setting up a play? Probably not, especially with this Huskar being so far behind. He kind of has to split push, or he feels like he has to split push. So he's gonna play this timing. Doesn't catch the Void Spirit here. On top of that, his whole team, and they're clearly looking to make a play. Nice glimpse. Nice. Yeah, they're going to siege mid. Jakiro's going to shove bottom. Has to be a little bit careful. I was going to say, I feel like he kind of needs to ulti. And the reason why I feel like he kind of needs to ulti, I'd be a little bit afraid. I mean, to be fair, Void Spirit's like all of their damage right now, or most of their useful damage, like burst damage. But, you know, being in this position, like right next to the tower, it kind of opens you up to getting TP'd on here and then just like stunned into a frostbite and dying. So I like his ulti. Goes onto the CM, kills her off for free. For free. Wraith King gets glimpsed. Nice rotation into mid. But like, I think he really lets his team hit timings. I think the biggest timing here, so I bet this is like the biggest reason. Okay, no, wait, SF didn't even have BKB. SF had Lance. I was gonna say I think they're mid because SF has BKB, but he didn't. So I guess I can't make that argument. They must have just felt strong, frankly. Let's watch again just to see like why he does this and he doesn't go bottom. So a couple things to consider. The enemy team is bottom, right? It's not the laning stage anymore. The enemy team's gonna group up a lot more. People have a lot more kill threat just because of, you know, the level of spells. So bottom wasn't really an option. He was getting zoned out of bottom. You don't want to like shove in bottom anyway. When it's nighttime, at least in this scenario, you'd much rather make plays. He's pretty strong now too. Even has level 2 ulti, which is a pretty big spike. It's 100 damage, so that's nice. Yeah, it makes sense. He just kind of couldn't go bottom. You don't really want to go farm top on your nighttime timing. I think at this point, he just feels like, okay, my team is ahead. I know we're ahead. I'm going to force the issue. Notice how he doesn't like directly dive at tower though. Notice how he kind of like runs up this hill, scouts the area. He doesn't just like run down this lane. Most players are shit. They just like run down the lane and they're just like, oh, there's a CM here, get her. And then they dive to tier 2 and then they feed. That's not so good. So instead has a little bit of patience, CM nukes, that gives her position away. He ultis for her, which is kind of, I would say it's meh, but I think the ulti was good in general to make sure that the Wraith King or Huskar wasn't TPing on him, or even Earth Spirit. He shoves top, probably gonna shove another top wave. With the Huskar showing bottom and the enemy team likely being tilted, they're probably not gonna make a play. Really, TP's bottom here, okay. Void Spirit does show mid, but at the same time, you kind of have to fear a potential bait. The Jakiro TP actually reveals the Wraith King positioning, okay. All right. Alrighty. All right. Well, at least they got some TPs, I guess. The SF is really far up. This might not be so good. Okay, SF had a BKB TP out. Yeah, I love this gameplay. So keep this in mind, guys. This is a really important lesson that he shows here. This Huskar TP bottom, I think the main reason why they do it is they just kind of feel like, hey, we're like literally 10 times stronger. This guy just feeds, and if they back him up, we probably just kill them all. So I think that's his main gist here. Did he TP after Void Spirit showed or before? Okay, it was before Void Spirit even showed, so he didn't respect this at all. He's just like, okay, they just can't fight us, which is kind of crazy because I kind of feel here, I mean, it's a really great play to work with the Pugna, because this doesn't work if Pugna doesn't TP in as well. This is when you know it's like a high Omara game, right? When two players are just so confident in each other, they just kind of trust each other, and they're also fast, right? They're fast, they both know what they can do. But then, yeah, I mean, chasing here is honestly a little risky pre-BKB. I guess he just assumed they're not in the area. I don't think anyone showed top either, so bit of a crazy play in my opinion. But it works out. It works out. Sometimes you just have to call a bluff. Also, the Huskar has been literally just running down side lanes alone all game, so he might have just been assuming that that's what that guy's doing. But yeah, back to mid instantly. The biggest thing there is notice how after they get a kill in a side lane, when you're winning and you have a high tempo team comp, you need to just get back to mid, get back to mid. If they just ran down bottom, what happens, guys? Think about it. If they run down bottom, what happens? Think. If they got this kill and then went like this, what happens? They get this tier 2, the enemy team gets full control of this top side of the map. Look at the mini map, right? They get all of this for themselves, and they even might get Roshan control. Or just Roche in general. I don't know if, I think Roche is up actually. And they can take it because they have a Huskar, right? So literally, if they stay bottom, they could lose Roche when Huskar respawns, and the whole game could just get turned on its head, right? So you get back to mid, you get your control back, you put the pressure, they go to top, Yeah, looks like this game's pretty done. I love how Huskar's like typing in all chat. He's like, dude, I don't know, man. Oh, I like that. The Echo Saber and the BKB. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Echo Saber is really nice early on and gives you the mana. I've always been a little bit hestant with the item because I'm like, oh, it kind of delays your BKB, but that makes sense. You just disassemble it. I think I've seen this before, but I always forget about it when I'm thinking about Night Stalker. This makes sense though. You disassemble into the BKB. Yeah, at this point, you just kind of kill the backline. Slightly under committing on a couple targets, but probably gonna, okay, Void Spirit's dead. Yeah, has to kite out. Good kiting. Understanding, okay, my BKB's down. I would say overall this fight, honestly, I wouldn't say it was sloppy, but it was like... I honestly feel like maybe he should have just hit the Huskar. I feel like ignoring this Huskar is a bit sus. Going for the backline, in my opinion, doesn't make that much sense here. Only because, like, yes, he has BKB, so he can do it. But I feel like at the same time, like, this guy's just so far out of position, you can just stay in the back and secure the kill. Nonetheless, he decides to go to the backline, kills both the supports, which is obviously valuable. Then the Void Spirit just dies to Jakiro, onto the Wraith King, knows that the BKB is out. You don't really man up the Huskar very well because of the disarm, so he kites out. Honestly, a little bit risky on the positioning. I don't know, did he play around that kinetic field? Did he know that Huskar wouldn't be able to get on him? Or does Huskar just clearly not have ult? I don't know, that's kind of weird. Maybe he knew Huskar didn't have ulti, not sure. Either way, beautiful kiting. Oh, okay, oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, he's dead. Trust in the Pugna, man. The synergy, the teamwork, it's just beautiful. Is he gonna dive? Damn, that was cool. Wow, that was pretty cool. That was really heads up. Unlocks the Oblivion Staff, buys the Ogre Axe, which gives him the double hit plus the slow, which prevents him from having to dive the fountain and gets him the rampage. And he lives. Oh my god. All right, hey, you gotta be able to do that math if you want to get the 12K. Not really, but you get the point. Wow, he did that so fast. That was so heads up. Crazy. All right. Nonetheless, thank you guys. Well, I think this game basically is over now. We'll watch the last fight. All right, it's going to be about all for today's video as we watch the enemy team fake call GG. A pub classic, right? Never assume that they've given up. Literally, dude, I've thrown so many pubs like that. It's so sad. I should be like 30K by now if I just didn't listen to GG calls. Either way, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.